Friend of Minnows, a camp people tale of those from the far beginnings. Under the twitching leaves he watched while night closed shut its eyes. The man, he stood there waiting, yes, touching his animal clan. The passion, the terror, the hunger, the thirst that bestirred anon his hunting companions, these did not stir him. The names of his forebearers he knew each one unto 6 generations and more, from the eastmost camp of the hungry slopes, down mountain to Blood River, no taint from the inland nor lower river, yet less from the people who disappeared. And before he died again, he vowed he would know his antecedents, he would in those from the far beginnings. A lump in his back, burning and hard, raised like a fist, throbbed in the night. And he stood there amidst his animal clan, minnows wriggling at ankles and feet, in waters where creek broadened and shallowed and slowed over sand. And how his age mates had laughed at him, at the time of boys made men, that he chose so modest an animal clan, that none had chosen before, the minnow. Now tell me your secrets, he murmured to them. Tell me of those from the far beginnings, who first paddled up Blood River and waded into shore. Surely they never killed your kind, but joined the dance of your silver lights. And surely you know the message of waters, from the whole earth lake, through the Bay of Teeth, and the 2 north forks up to Blood River, and up to Brilliant Creek on the hungry slopes tonight. So spoke the man in moonlight on waters from his bones, to the skin of his legs and his feet, to his minnow clan circling there. At the appointed time, Mo-Tepigum arrived. She came with her secret on secret stash of the 2 visions drug, which she bartered from forced divinations to traders passing through on return from rituals of Blood River, and her, disbeliever of divinations, yet forced to admit for the sake of her powerless camp on the hungry slopes. And a thumb of the drug she gave to the man named Friend of Minnows, for his journey beyond her kin. And he lay in the shallows of Brilliant Creek on his back in the sand. In the fury of the first vision he stood and he posed with the lump on his back to the moon, the lump whose pain slowed his hunting arm. Now, cut in deep, that I may know, and tell me what you see. And Mo-Tepigum she cut with her tiny axe for umbilical cords. She cut a thumb's depth and 2 thumbs' width, and sap flowed out as if he were a soap vine. And he lay himself down on his back in the creek, while his minnow clan cleaned the wound, and Mo-Tepigum sat on a rock and held his head in her hands. Friend of Minnows then passed into the second vision quickly, subtle yet clear from eons' vibrations, the voices of those from the far beginnings now at last reached his ears. The hard staccato breaths of those on cold, rocky coasts far north, who in terror knotted provisions to their jointed boats, snatched children at hand, launched desperately and paddled, southbound to no destination but away from marauders, emptying their household and slaughtering lingerers. The Minnow clan of the man now swarm him to amplify their vibrations, those from the far beginnings, to compel him with the voices he would yet would not hear. 2 young brothers there are, their father, their mother, their uncles, their aunts, and their several cousins are not among those who reach the pier ahead of marauders. A boatman who pushes off grabs 2 boys, his own offspring irretrievable, but the injured older boy, he cannot be sustained. First night, before he heaves himself into the chill bone brine, he whispers to the close ear of his younger brother. And this the man called Friend of Minnows discerns in full awareness. The older boy speaks. Lest you ever doubt what I will tell you, here is my amulet. My spirit will wait to be summoned by yours to the womb of whomever may be your wife. Live and mate. Bring progeny gladly. In the days at sea ensuing, the younger boy strives mightily. Yes, he says, yes and yes to every command from the boatman. Yes to consumption of unknown wriggly things from rocks jutting out from the sea. Yes to the harvest of wet moss from ledges, while the boatman holds his ankles above, and they wring fresh water from moss and drink it thirstily. Then yes, at last, as they convene in an unguessed harbor with other boats of survivors. And yes, and here Moat Peakum held steady the grimacing head of the man in the creek. Yes, as the boatman uses him for want of a woman, because all the few women are taken and guarded. From the younger brother, forever thereafter, only yes, and never no. On a bright day, with provisions renewed, before cold winds resume, the survivors launch forth for a distant point, and there gladly unite with the community that successfully fled the marauders a generation before. And now the boatman releases the younger one from service for his life. The boatman takes a widow of the community to be his wife. Freed at last, freed and safe, the boy finds now his no. Friend of Minnows now hears the boy's firm no. It is no to the voice of his slaughtered father that he hears now in dreams. No to the slaughtered father's prodding. Now you will kill the boatman who violated you, my son. No, says the boy, like a yes. Then finally, reflecting on the tentative, frayed community, a no that is truly no. No, let him live and forget. But what the younger brother cannot do is say yes to a wife when he comes of age. Friend of Minnows strains his hearing for yes, but Friend of Minnows hears nothing. The younger brother of those from the far beginnings, he still clutched the amulet. He passed it secretly to the daughter of the boatman, saying, in unknown ways I saved the life of the boatman, more surely than he saved mine. Now call to your womb when you are wed the spirit of my older brother who drowned, and I will count the debt paid. And she agreed, but she did not comply. She called to her womb the spirit of the boatman's father first, and then the spirit of her mother. She honored the amulet in a time that never came to pass. Friend of Minnows begins to emerge from the second vision. Tell me, says Mo to Pegum, will you live now or will you die? Friend of Minnows begins to sing. He sings his mother's lullaby. Still my baby suckles, still my baby nuzzles, softly now in seaweed, sleep with mother, nestle safe in island rocks. To Mo to Peckham he says now, this is my mother's lullaby. What is seal? She questions him. The name of manatee, Mother said, when he swims in the whole earth lake. They pause. They feel a presence there they cannot specify. Stillness, stillness, hearing nothing. Friend of Minnows strains to journey now where Mo to Peckham cannot go, beyond the journey of the second vision of two visions drug. Mo to Peckham hesitates, his head still in her palms. She hesitates, then lets him go to the care of his animal clan, whether he lives or whether he dies. He sings again. Seal my baby suckle, seal my baby nozzle, hidden well in seaweed, sleep with mother, nestle safe in island rocks. In half of a silence he hears distinctly the breath, the reach of another. Like a stick caught fire, Mo to Peckham fiercely emanates. Let no one enter this sacred space. Footsteps retreat, then wait, then depart. Suppose I recall an unsuitable childhood thing, Friend of Minnows asks. With Mo to Peckham, the truth is always suitable, she says. I wore an amulet my mother gave me, of no known craft hereabouts. Swimming once, I lost it, never returned to search in sand and retrieve the burdensome thing. My mother never asked. Mo to Peckham still holds the head of the man in her palms. He lies on sand in shallow waters, his minnow clan tending his wound. Now I know to whom the amulet belonged, he says. Not probably, but truly. It belonged to the elder brother, I know it. He gave it to the younger as he slipped into the sea, died by cold, not of drowning. Left provisions to the boatman and his younger brother, who never called him back to the womb of any bride. Friend of Minnows stood up then. Mo to Peckham led him to her house. Friend of Minnows slept then. Daylight came. Mo to Peckham dressed his wound. The lump subsided. He lifted his shoulder, raised his arm. He stretched out his hand as hunter again. I must live. I must hunt, he said. I must embrace my wife. Indeed, he showed his elbow to the hunter who would seduce her twice. Friend of Minnows told his wife his story. She granted her permission. He summoned to her womb the spirit of his older brother. It is done, said Motepicum, that no noble spirit will wander forever. It is done that every brother will fulfill his promise to his brother. It is done, whispered Motepicum, to the ear of the jaguar only, that Motepicum will sustain the seeker in his search. And now, the storyteller's axe. With whatever skill the roof beam is lashed, a jaguar wind lies in wait to pounce. Tonight's podcast is the product of the remarkable writings of Jean Maria Arrigo, amanuensis. Was performed by Westchester and Talia Morales. Original score by Westchester with original vocal score by Talia Morales. Sound design by WCEXA. Administrative support by Hal Brody. Additional music and effects secured through a subscription to artlist.com. This podcast is made possible through the efforts of John Kriegler and with a generous donation by the following individuals: Norman Wong, Dick Martin and Cindy Valentine, Chin Chin Wu, Miriam Erb Allen, and Hal Brody. All rights reserved. 2024. Estate of Jean Maria Arrigo and Westchester. Thanks for listening.